I just make like a little bit of it, and it's exactly the same way I showed you guys with the sofa. We just duplicate it then, because you don't need to worry so much about symmetry then, because the software does it all for you, okay? So what we're going to do is make like a real thin cube first, and then we can worry about fixing it later on. So what we need is a little edge loop that we're going to extrude out of, okay? So same tool. I told you anyway, like in Maya, you end up using 3 or 4 tools non-stop to make like nearly everything. Okay, so what we're going to do is insert an edge loop. I'm going to put it near here. And then we're going to go into face mode. We're going to grab our face. So this is the same thing that we were doing last week. And we're just going to extrude it. Okay, so mesh tools and extrude. Just go straight to your move tool and pull it up, okay? So I'm just going to come out of this view now because like there's only so much I can do in there, like accuracy wise. So what I'm doing now is I'm just in a different view where I'm looking front on. Now I always work in wireframe, which is a bit hard for you guys to see, but it's easier for me to see, okay? So there's our, if we change our mode, there's our object that we're working on, and we can shift it. Okay, so we can kind of see roughly where our window is here, right? So there's our kind of window shape that we want to snap into. So we want it to be like the same height as that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a thing called snap to points, and that's going to really rigidly snap stuff into place for us. So where you do, all your snap tools are up here. I think a couple people turned them on last week by mistake, right? They're handy, but they can be really annoying if you forget that you have them turned on. You'll think Maya's kind of being a bit weird. So basically, if I turn this on, like the magnet with a little dot is snap to points. Every time I try and move an object now, it's going to snap it to a point, like whatever point I'm closest to. Okay? You got all the ones like snap to grid, so every time I move it now, it's going to snap in with the grid. So you can do like dead accurate stuff, like over and over again. So they are just toggle buttons, like you just turn them on and off when you need them. So we're going to use the snap to point. I'm going to roughly line it up first. And I'm going to snap these points here in line with the window frame, okay? So I'll do it in the 3D view just to make it a bit easier for you guys to see. So I pop out. So all I'm going to do is move in this direction. And see straight away it's just snapped in to that point. Okay, I'm moving my mouse like quite a bit there, and it's not doing anything because I'm not closer to another point. So if we were to do that in the side view here, all you do is move it, and then just move. A trick is just move your mouse close to whatever you want to snap it to, and that'll do all the hard work for you. Okay, so these points here, these two, if I want to move them up and down, all I do is move them and just move my mouse close to the point I want to snap it in, and it's 100% in line now. There's no like. The annoying thing is in 3D modeling, if you think someone's in line and you zoom in, like the closer you get, you notice it's out by like a fraction of a millimeter. And you might think like, well, what's the big deal? But if you put a light outside that, it's a bit weird if you're walking around your living room and you see like a little crack of light coming through beside your window, you'd be like, my house is crap. Okay, so it's like little things that that'll break, like they break the immersion, they stop people believing that it's kind of real, even if it's like the most cartoony thing in the world, like Pixar film. If you can see like little cracks coming through, you're like, why is there a crack in the wall? That makes no sense. So like little things like this will kind of help make your stuff better. So we're going to do snap the bottom ones. Remember, the reason I'm clicking dragging a box over is so I select the ones behind it as well. And then we're just going to snap them down there. Okay. I'm going to shorten this down anyway, and I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so I'm going to shorten this down as well. So we should end up with like a nice little quarter. So remember when we did the sofa, I was saying to you guys, make sure like the middle of it is kind of empty. Okay, so make sure you've got nothing kind of floating around the middle. My selection tool is just kind of having a bit of a fit. There we go, right. So all I'm going to do is bin that because we don't need it. And I'm going to bin this one because we don't need it. And then when we're in object mode, we just go mesh, and we're going to go mirror geometry. So if I want to go up the way first, what direction?
Y plus.
Plus Y, yeah. Just up, yeah. If only it was just like mirror up, that would make far more sense, yeah. Mirror up, mirror left, mirror right. If I want to come mirror now towards me, what direction's that?
Exponents.
So what direction is this running? It's coming towards me.
Oh,
So it's X and it's,
minus.
I think you got it right. Plus. Why do you think it's X plus? Someone say why not? It's just because it's the side with the colour on it. Okay? So the little side that's got the coloured X on it, that's plus X. The other side, minus X. Yeah, so it'll be plus X. And I will open in that I was using Maya for like 6 years before I even clocked on that the side of the colour was plus. I was just guessing. I would just guess it, and I would always guess it wrong. Like no matter what, I'd be like, right, I'm going, and I try and do Darren Brown in myself. I'd be like, right, if I'm going to go plus this time, I'm going to go minus. It would still be wrong. Because if you do get it wrong, guys, just Z, and then just go with the opposite one then. So if we look at it there, that's roughly what we want to have, and then we can snap these points into place then. Okay, so all you do is turn on your snap the points again. Remember, it just toggles in, and then we can shift it over. Okay. Getting a little song out there, right? So what we're gonna do then, guys, is just for the middle. Like you could be very sneaky. You could duplicate this if you wanted, and you could scale it and use these here as like smaller windows inside, like windows that you kind of open up. Right, it's totally up to you what you want to do with it. But what we'll do for now is just like a basic one. We're going to put in a plane that's going to just sit on this. So if I pop into my 3D view, your plane tool is just here. Okay, it's also in like create, poly primitives, and then plane. Basically, a plane is just like a sheet of paper. Okay, so if we just draw that out like that, I think I've shown this to a couple of people. You've got this little editor here. It's like your attributes editor. So if you're not sure of how much to rotate something, if you click and drag, you see now rotation X is starting to change. Now I know that's like 90 degrees. Okay, so if I just click in this little box and go minus 90, that does it for me. Okay, so there's no, I know you guys are used to using Photoshop and you know you can hold control and stuff to rotate certain degrees. It's in Maya, it's a lot easier just to do it like this. And then what we're going to do then is just line it up. And the best way to line stuff up is use your top, your front, and your side view. So if I line that up there like that, I know it's right in the middle of the frame, but it's the wrong height. And then if I use this one, I know it's right there. And then all I want to do then is use my snap to points, and I'm going to snap it into exactly the same size. Okay, but I'm snapping like sets of points at a time. So you ever see anyone like doing like a speed model of anything on YouTube, and you think they're like freakishly accurate with their stuff? They probably just got the snap tool turned on. And then all we do then is we can group that together and shove it in the window. Okay. I'm just going to rotate the window around so we get like the nice side on this side. So minus 180 would be that rotation. There you go. So what we do then is just group these two together. So we just go mesh, combine. Now that's not, it's kind of like, you guys have used Illustrator before, haven't you? You know when you group stuff in Illustrator, you can always ungroup it down the line. It's exactly the same thing. So they'll sit together for now, but you can always kind of bend them later on, okay? So if I go mesh and separate, I can now treat the two of them like two separate objects as well. So then we should end up with something that looks a bit like that, all right? I'll turn on my wireframe so you guys can see it. And I might need to snap the top of that in. So we should end up something that looks a little bit like that. And then we're going to try to do the same end for like a door frame after. Okay? We give it a try. Like, there is quite a few tools there, guys, so I expect like a lot of people to go, how the hell did I do this? And that's cool. Just give me a shout.